Why did you decide to do a law degree?
And my father also did a law degree. But then when it came to me, I was also like, I should do a law degree and carry on the legacy.
Do you think UK would be the right place to do a law degree?
The first reason why UK is the right place
Yes.
if you want to do a 3-year degree is because it's the only place you can do a 3-year degree.
What is the difference between a barrister and a solicitor?
In the UK, there's a distinction between a lawyer in two brackets, a solicitor and a barrister.
So what's your advice for the students who have, let's say, completed a bachelor's degree in India and now they want to do a master's in UK?
I would recommend apply for training contract.
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम अरुण अग्रवाल है एंड ओवरसीज एजुकेशन काउंसलर. आज हमारे साथ प्रथमेश हैं, वन ऑफ आवर स्टूडेंट्स हु वेंट टू यूके इन द ईयर 2021 and happy to say that he has just completed his bachelor's degree in law from world's one of the most reputed university, Queen Mary University of London, and now he's also planning to make a professional career out of it. So Prathamesh, thank you so much for coming here. It's so good to see you.
Thank you so much, Arun sir. The pleasure is all mine. I'm really honored to be here.
Thank you, Prathamesh. So please tell our audience, the students watching you, about your history, about your entire career so far.
Yes, definitely. So, I'm Prathamesh Agarwal and I was born and brought up in Siliguri. I did my primary schooling from Don Bosco, very close from here as well. And then I went on to a boarding school in Chikmagalur. It's called Ambavary Residential School. It's near Bangalore. And then from there on, I did my 10th, up to my 10th standard there. And then I went on to the school called Sayadri. It's part of the Krishnamurti Foundation, and I did my 11th and 12th from there. And from then on, I was looking to do my university, and I was confused as to if I should do finance or if I should do law. And then, with the help of Arun sir and everyone at Global Reach, I decided to do law in the UK. And then from there on, I finished my undergrad in Queen Mary University of London. It's ranked 7th in the UK for law, and it's a top 50 university for law in the world as well. So I was really fortunate and consider myself very privileged to have gone there and completed my degree. And then after that, I undertook the Solicitor's qualification exam. This is basically an exam that's centralized by the Solicitors board in the UK, and after taking this exam, you sort of start to become a lawyer in the UK. So I did that professional qualification after my graduation. And while I was there in the UK, I did a lot of things that helped me become the person that I am and has shaped me both in terms of my career and my future growth. I was doing a lot of things on the side while doing my university degree as well. I was actively involved in societies, taking up leadership roles, and helping in any way or form that I could. I was the note taker and a legal advisor at a legal clinic.
Wow.
So basically, it's like a place where underprivileged people come and ask for legal advice. And with the help of a solicitor supervising us, we help them and give them detailed legal advice with their problems. And I feel like that was a big initiative that the university took, and I was fortunate enough to be able to join them and be a part of that team. That was quite nice. I was also the treasurer for the Queen Mary Law Society, and while I was treasurer, we did a lot of events at Queen Mary. Some of the events were one of its kind, and it was great to see a lot of people who I helped through the university now coming in and following the same
Wow.
career path that I'm following. And then we also launched a mentorship scheme. It was called the Queen Mary Mentorship Scheme. So it was a flagship mentorship program where students could come, who like international students, home students who wanted to pursue a career in law but didn't exactly know how to go about it. Me with a few of my friends and then others who had job offers, we started counseling and helping these students also get onto the path. And then this year, like I see a lot of people messaging me saying, hey, I have this offer now. So that's quite very
Satisfying.
fulfilling and satisfying to see.
Super, Prathamesh. At this age, you have traveled so much and you have already done so much for yourself. And the best part, what I see is you've also started giving back to the community at this early age. You have realized that you have to do something for the community. I'm so glad to know that.
So that feeling is really something special when you're able to help someone and they come back to you and tell you that, by the way, like, thanks for your help, this worked out. And then that just gives a different sense of joy.
Super. So let's start, Prathamesh, for the questions. So number one, so why did you decide to do a law degree? I mean, what was the thought process behind picking up a law degree?
So, in a way, it was a no-brainer. I come from a family of lawyers. I'm going to be a third generation
wow.
lawyer. My grandfather, my late grandfather, S.L. Agarwal, was a prominent lawyer of the city. And then my father also did a law degree, but he, for different reasons, did not go into practice. But then when it came to me, I was also like, I should do a law degree and carry on the legacy.
Wow.
And while I was picking to do law, I didn't really give a lot of thought into whether I want to practice law or not, because I feel like law is a degree that gives you a professional qualification. It has a little bit of a respect to it when you tell someone that I'm a lawyer. And then having studied the degree, I can tell you for sure, you know a lot more about things, and you have a different perspective to things. You look at things differently, you think about things differently,
Critically.
yeah, critically.
Ah.
And then that helps in different professions and different journeys as well. So I was like, let me go on there, see what I can do, and take this degree on. Like, statistically speaking, law is also, I think, one of either the second or the third most degree to complete. So I was like, let me take on this challenge, and if I can do this, then it'll help me do other things from
So
there.
you mean to say it's one of the toughest degrees to complete? I mean,
Yeah,
Yes.
because there's a lot of people dropping out.
Yes.
There's like low completion rates.
Yes.
So it's not an easy degree to do. And if you complete a law degree, you get certain skills, you've put in the work. So you can tell yourself at the end of it, you know what, I've done this.
Yes.
Even if I don't want to go into practice,
Yes.
the skills that I've gained
Yes.
will help me elsewhere.
Yes, I completely agree with you, because I did my computer science engineering work for a couple of years, and that actually made me really, I mean, analytical person and very organized
Exactly.
person. Even though I'm not practicing engineering as of today, but those skill set is still helping me, and I feel it has played a major role in shaping what I am today.
Yeah.
So another question is, out of 10 students I meet, 9 students want to pursue law in India.
Yeah.
So why did you pick up law in the UK? And in India, generally the law degrees are for 5 years. You do a BLLB or a BBLLB. So what is the duration of the bachelor's degree in the UK you did for the bachelor's, and why specifically UK?
Basically, what I had in mind was, like I mentioned earlier, I did want to do a law degree, but I didn't want to do a BA LLB, because I personally was interested in doing a BCom or a BBA before an LLB, because I wanted to do something on the finance side. Given that I also come from a business family, I didn't want to pursue a BA and want to do something on those lines. But then I realized that the top national law schools in the country do not give you a BBA or a
Yes.
BCom LLB.
Yes.
They only offer a BA LLB.
Yes.
And I did not want to spend 5 years doing a BA LLB degree, wherein, you know, a good amount of time would have gone into doing a BA degree.
Yes.
And while it has
I think 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years.
While it has its merits, I personally, that was not the choice I wanted. And then while researching and, you know, speaking to you and with your guidance, I found out that we could do a law degree in the UK straight after university.
Yes.
So how it works in India, why it's a 5-year degree, is that you cannot do a law degree straight out
Yes.
after 12th standard.
Yes.
You need to do a 3-year degree before and then do a 3-year law degree.
Or
So
at least
6
if
years,
combined, or if
combined
5
5-year
years.
degree.
Yes, yes.
But I was like, if I can do a straight law degree, which is what I just wanted to do
Yes.
anyways,
Yes.
right out of 12th standard, then
Yes.
why wait?
And I think you could complete it in 3 years.
Yeah.
So you save 2 precious years of your life.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So I think that was exactly the reason why we chose UK.
Yes.
And the reason I wanted to ask you this is so that the audience gets to know that you have the opportunity to also complete a law degree in 3 years.
Exactly.
Just after class 12th. So it's
Exactly.
not always has to be 5 years.
Exactly.
Correct. And do you think UK would be the right place to do a law degree? Is it acceptable in India to practice law after you do it in UK?
So I'll come back to that in 1 second. The first reason why UK is the right place
Yes.
if you want to do a 3-year degree is because it's the only place you can do a
Yes.
3-year degree. Because if you want to go to the US or anywhere else, if you're looking abroad, or if you want to do law in India, it's either 5 years or 6 years.
Yes.
UK is the only place where you can do 3 years.
And approved by Bar Council of India.
Yeah.
Majority of the degrees by UK universities are approved by Bar Council of India. Yes.
Yeah. And then coming back to your question of how that UK degree works in India. So the whole process is a little complicated, once you do the degree, it's easy to unwrap it, but there's a lot of technicalities into it. But now that the Bar Council of India and the Lawyers Board in the UK have signed some treaties to make it easier, how it works is that the UK is a common law country, which means that a lot of the cases and the law comes from both the courts and the parliament. Same with India. A lot of the law comes from both the courts and the parliament. So we have a similar legal system. So once you do a UK law degree, there's always an option to come back to India and do a training course for a year, and then you're eligible to practice in
Okay.
India.
Okay.
Or you can do a law degree in the UK, practice there for a couple of years, and then come and take the bar exam in India. Now, of course, there are some details and eligibility requirements that you need to be aware of. So if someone is considering that, it's better if they go on to the respective websites and look at the details. But for an overview, this is how it works.
I mean, overview is that it is possible.
It is very much
so
possible.
if somebody does a degree in UK and they want to practice in India, it's not a waste.
No, definitely not.
Huh.
In fact, like, I can give you like references of a lot of people who've done UK law degrees and have come back to India and started practicing law.
Yes.
In fact, a very dear friend of mine did a law degree in the UK with me, and then is already a practicing a practicing lawyer in the Supreme Court.
Wow. Yes, even I met few couple of lawyers. People in the Delhi last time, and they had a degree from UK, and they were happily practicing in
Exactly.
India. In fact, they preferred getting some international work experience,
Exactly.
and then come back to India.
Exactly.
Perfect. And what is the difference between a barrister and a solicitor?
Yeah, so a lot of people in India, when you think about a lawyer, you think about someone who goes to court and like goes in front of a judge and pleads a case.
Yes.
That's what we think of when we
Yes.
think of a lawyer. But in the UK, there's a distinction between a lawyer in two brackets, a solicitor and a barrister. So a barrister is someone who goes to court and pleads the case in front of a judge, is what is traditional to what you see
On the TVs.
on the TVs.
On the
Yes.
movies.
And a solicitor is someone who does the job of a lawyer but does not go to court. So it's like it's wrong to say that they don't go to court. They also have rights to go to courts, but generally it'll be a solicitor doing the case and then a barrister pleading that case in court.
Got it. So it's a teamwork kind of thing.
Yeah. To give you an example, it's like we said, a barrister is someone we think of when we think of a lawyer.
Yes.
And I'm sure a lot of you have seen this show called Suits. The lawyers in Suits, they were all mostly solicitors.
Okay.
So that is the kind of work that a solicitor does. You facilitate deals. So it's like if a big company wants to buy another big company, they'll be coming to a solicitor and they will be facilitating that transaction.
Got it. So barrister works more in the background?
It's hard to say one in the background or not, because it's like there could be like a dispute in which everybody is working together.
Okay.
So the solicitor will be the one who will be dealing with the client, getting all the case details,
done.
preparing the
Yes,
case, and the barrister will go and plead the case in front of the judge.
Got it. So how to become a barrister, and what is the entire process all about?
So it's not like once you do a law degree in the UK, you're automatically a lawyer. Like
Okay.
even in India or anywhere else in the world, just doing a law degree and LLB does not make you a lawyer. You need to do a qualification exam, which colloquially we refer to it as the bar exam. So even in India, after you do a law degree, you need to pass the bar exam. So same in the UK, but like I said, that there's a distinction between a barrister and a solicitor.
Yes.
So there's a different bar exam that you need to give if you want to be a barrister,
Understand.
and a different bar exam that you
Okay.
need to give if you're a solicitor.
Okay.
So for being a barrister, after you finish your law degree, there's something called the bar prep course or the bar training course. Different providers call it differently.
Okay.
And then you take that course, it's a year-long course,
Okay.
and then you give multiple exams over 2-3 months.
Okay.
And then once you pass those exams, you become eligible to be a barrister then.
Okay.
And then there's something called a pupillage. So that's like depending from a chamber of barristers. It's like you work under or you work with some senior barristers for a year or 2 years. And then once you finish that pupillage, you then get called to the bar. So
Got it.
then you are like a licensed barrister and you can go out to somebody and then get a case on your own and go to the court on your own.
Okay. So it works like first you have to do your 3 years bachelor's degree.
Exactly.
Then take a 1 year break prepare for the exams,
yeah.
and then give the exams, and then you give it. So
Then you start practicing. You're just
Practicing,
learning
yes.
though. It's like you work as a trainee, like or someone who's learning under.
So that 1 year you have to do the coaching online, or how does it work?
So like the University of
Yes,
Law and like
yes,
other universities in the UK,
yes.
they offer these courses.
So it
It's
is
like
online, offline, both options are there.
both options are there, but normally people just do it like how you do university. It's like
Regular classes.
it's like going to another year of university.
Got it.
But it's just that the traditional universities that you know of, they don't offer these courses.
Got it. Makes sense. And then what would be the journey for Solicitor if they want to become? What is the whole process all
So
about?
it's a similar process, but what happens is that after your 3-year law degree, you need to take something called the Solicitor's Qualifying Examination. It's administered by the Solicitors Regulation Authority. That's again a year-long process. It is divided into two big exams, SQE1 and SQE2. So in SQE1, you have like multiple choice questions that you need to answer while going to a test center. And then that happens like roughly 5 to 6 months after you start. And then another 3 to 4 months later, you do the SQE2, which is more like a skills-based exam. So there's a lot of written essays and then like client interviewing, advocacy, speaking in front of like a mock judge, and those sorts of things involved. So once you do both those exams and pass those exams, traditionally how people qualify as solicitors is that after that you'll be doing something called a training contract. A training contract is basically like you'll be practicing under and with a firm of solicitors for a couple of years.
Okay.
And then once you finish that, you'll get a degree or like a certificate from the SRE which says that you're now a qualified solicitor.
Okay. Now I get a lot of students who have done law degrees in India, and now they want to do a corporate law, they want to do IPR, intellectual property rights, AI law is coming up very well,
Yeah.
cyber security. So what's your take on that? I mean, students can do it at a bachelor's level, or they should do this kind of specialization at a master's level. How does it work?
So thank you for bringing up the master's point actually.
Thank you.
Because it's a thing that especially us as Indians, we really emphasize on doing a
Do a
master's
degree, yes.
That's like the pinnacle of my academic journey, right?
Yes.
So a lot of these university courses, they club a master's into this.
Okay.
So in that 1 year span, you can do your SQE1, SQE2 and a master's.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So 3 years bachelor's plus 1
Plus
year.
1 year,
Masters
including a professional qualification.
Makes sense.
So it's a very nice degree in terms of the fact that you'll do an LLM and you'll have a professional exam cleared.
Okay, so what's your advice for the students who have, let's say, completed a bachelor's degree in India and now want to do a master's in UK on any particular specializations? What are the specializations you think they should consider, and what are the process for these masters?
So, firstly, I feel like if you want to be a solicitor, like you mentioned, corporate law
Yes.
and AI law and those sorts of things,
Yes.
cybersecurity,
Environmental law. Yes.
exactly, like ESG focus. So there are big commercial law firms which do all of these things. So when I say commercial law firms, I mean corporate law firms as well. So I can name a few if people recognize them. Some of them are called Magic Circle firms. Some of them are called White Shoe firms, Silver Circle firms, and then there are other international firms. So these are like big organizations which have like offices all around the world. They employ thousands of lawyers.
Wow.
They're basically your big four, but in law. And what they do is that you get, I would recommend, like if someone wants to do a degree in has done a law degree in India and then wants to come to the
Yes.
UK, is apply for training contracts.
Okay.
The job or the training that we do for 2 years after the SQE, because most of these firms sponsor your 1 year after your uni.
Okay.
So say for example, the year that I did recently, in which I did my SQE1 and SQE2 exams and those sorts of things, was sponsored by my future employer.
Oh, so how did you approach your employer, and how did you convince them to sponsor your? How did that work?
So, like I mentioned, that you apply for a training contract. So it's like all of these firms open applications either from September, October, and they are open either until January or until May, depending from firm to firm. There's like a whole process that you need to go through. There'll be a written application. There might be some like critical thinking tests. There might be some simulation tests, as in like you acting out an office scenario and then how someone reacts to that, those sorts of things. And then there will be an in-person interview in which there could be multiple case studies that you do, some written exercises,
Excellent.
and then a proper interview with some partners.
Excellent.
So when you clear all of that, you could be invited to an internship. And then at the end of that, so that internship lasts anywhere between from 1 week to 4 weeks, depending from firm to firm. Now you can do one of those or many of those. I, in my second year of university, had offers to do 3 internships. And when you do these internships, at the end of it, you're either made a training contract offer or not. And then it's upon you if you accept or you choose to decline. So once you accept a training contract offer, it's standard for a lot of these commercial law firms. They're also called big law firms. Like big law is a term for these firms in general. They all offer like competitive salaries to each other, and something that they all include is sponsoring your uh, 1 year of SQE plus your masters, and they also give you a maintenance grant on top of that.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I was not aware of it. Interesting. So one question would be, what do you think your life in UK as a student was? What role Queen Mary University of London had to play? How do you find yourself different from your peers or colleagues who studied in India? So something about UK, something about your uni, and what is the difference you see between your batchmates studying in India and you studying abroad?
So I feel like, firstly, just to begin with, a major difference between studying abroad and studying in India. You might think that even in India, I can go to like a big city and study away from home and not have the support of my family and everything. But it's a completely different ball game, because when you go abroad, you have no help. You have nobody to like, teach you how to cook and clean for you or like do your laundry. And it might sound very frivolous, but these are real things.
Yes.
Like, you really need to think about, what am I going to have for lunch? What am I going to have for dinner? My clothes got dirty. Who's going to do my laundry? So, firstly, going to a foreign country, being able to deal with these things, I think that's really important.
Okay.
And when you do that as a person, you feel very competent and self sufficient. And I think that's a feeling that you only feel if you experience it.
Got it.
Like, you may think that you're self-sufficient and you can do everything on your
Yes.
own, but only when you really try it and make do and then manage that with the pressure of studying,
Yes.
applying for jobs,
Yes.
going to a lot of social commitments and
Yes.
other things, that's when you fully realize, okay, like, there's more to life than just going about my day and doing the work that I'm supposed to do.
Yes.
And I feel like, other than that, at Queen Mary, I had a great time. It was lovely. Like, London as a city in itself is great. I think it's my favorite city in the world without any doubts.
No doubt.
And
You have people from all over the world, 190 plus countries.
exactly. And Queen Mary in itself is a very global university. I don't know the numbers exactly, but it's highly ranked for its
Yes.
international presence
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
I'm sure Arun sir can tell you
Yes.
more about that.
Yes.
But in Queen Mary, even, like, we had a lot of great opportunities to pursue while we were doing our degrees. So firstly, when you do a law degree in the UK, there are something called qualifying law subjects that you need to do. So those are some compulsory subjects that any student does law in the UK, anywhere, any university has to do. It's like a mandated requirement. Those are something like contract law, tort law, land law, trusts law, criminal law. Those sorts of things is something that everybody does.
Okay.
And then apart from that, you get to choose certain subjects. Now that's where I really liked Queen Mary, because Queen Mary had a real interesting mix of subjects that you could
As
pick
per your
from.
liking, as per your interest, a lot of permutations and
Exactly.
combinations. Super, super.
And I feel like I still had a lot of vanilla interests. Like, I just wanted to do corporate law, commercial law, those sorts of things. But there's interesting stuff like cybersecurity law,
Yes,
fashion law,
yes.
AI law. And not a lot of UK universities
Yes.
offer these specific
Yes,
modules,
yes.
but Queen Mary did. And I feel like that's something that can interest a lot of people.
Yes. And what would be your take in terms of future? I mean, you have already grabbed an opportunity. So please tell us what that company is all about, what they kind of work they do. So please tell all my audiences about the opportunities you have at
Yes.
hand. Yes, please.
So I basically applied to a few commercial law firms to get experience and qualify as a solicitor in the UK. And I was fortunate enough to do a couple of internships and then accept an offer from this law firm called Davis Polk and Wardwell.
Wow.
They're an international law firm headquartered in New York. They're a global elite New York law firm. They have about 8 to 10 offices worldwide. They have an office in every major financial capital of the world. And I'm employed by their London office. They do
That's a big achievement.
Yeah.
Yes.
they do all kinds of corporate law work in the sense that they do corporate M&A, private equity, finance, leverage finance, a lot of bond issuances, debt capital markets, equity capital markets, financial regulation, some employment law, and those sorts of things. So it's like one place which does a lot of offerings, and that's true for a lot of other international law firms as well. And what I get here, like why I picked this firm and why I feel like this was the right place for me, is that they have a really small intake. So, for example, the biggest law firms in London, they're like about 8 to 10 of them, which take more than 80 to 90 students in 1 year as trainees.
Okay.
Whereas the firm that I'm going to join just takes 5 people in a year.
Just 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like I personally wanted to be a part of a small team, work more closely with senior people,
Decision makers.
exactly, and get that exposure early on, because I feel like you learn best with people senior if you work more closely
Agree.
than them.
Agree. My last question of the day. If a student has done a law degree, be it India or be it abroad, and they decide to change their careers, what would be your advice?
I feel like that happens a lot of the times.
Yes.
Because law is a very versatile degree.
Yes.
I have a few friends who did a law degree and straight out of university were like, after doing the law degree, this is not for me, and went into either consulting or investment banking or those sorts of things.
Yes.
And then you also see very senior people in law who've had like 30, 35 years career into law, just law. After 35 years changing into like a banking role
Yes.
or like an executive at a just a company, like,
Yes.
a big company like Google or Meta or something of those lines, just going in-house. And there's also a lot of scope if you want to get into academia or other professions,
Yes.
like I mentioned,
Yes.
consulting, banking, any other finance roles. Because the world of corporate law, it might seem like, oh, it's a very legal world, but it's a hybrid world. It's a
Okay.
mix of legal and finance.
Ah.
So you're juggling two hats,
Two hats.
every day.
Okay.
Which is why it's very easy for you to transfer into just, a finance role as well if that fancies you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Prathamesh, for giving all this information. I hope our listeners, our audience find it useful and it adds value to people who want to become lawyers or they are considering to study law in their future. Please subscribe to our channel and like the video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll connect with you soon. Thank you.